Good afternoon and welcome to America's Home Cooking. I found the recipe to make powdered sugar, better known as confectionery sugar, and I'm going to see if I can make it. We're going to be in the holidays. We're in August. September school starts and then we're right into the holidays right behind it. So I found the recipe. It says 1 cup of sugar, which I'm going to get right now. You're going to need a food processor, they say, to do this. And according to how powerful your food processor is, dictates how long it's going to take to make it. So you put 1 cup of sugar in. Now I haven't done this, so we're going to find out if it can be done. Now it states point blank, we need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to add to this sugar before we start blending. And then we're going to run this through the food processor. Now they said according to the motor and how strong it is will dictate how fast it will be done or how long it will take. They can't tell you. It just depends upon the model that you have. So it's going to probably have to run a bit. I don't think I have the most powerful one out there. So let's see if we can do this. Oh, come on, don't give me a hard time today. Thank you. And we're just gonna let this do what it has to do and wait and see. So I'm gonna be running this about 5 minutes. Just leaving it there. I will be back. Okay, I took the lid off. It's been running about 8 minutes, I would say. It's a dang close, that's for sure. Here it is. That's powdered sugar, better known as confectionery sugar. Now remember, homemade is a little different than theirs, because they have the bigger machines to do things that we can't. But that's how you make, and that's the original recipe. I got it for you to show you how you can make your own confectionery sugar. Now I've got to go put this in a jar because it's homemade. So now you can make your light and dark brown sugar, and you can make confectionery sugar. So with those people, when you see Westerns and you see her in the store and homesteadings and you saw them and they'd come in and she'd have a list for coffee and sugar and flour. She had to make her own yeast and she had to make all these things. And with the sugar, she could make light and dark brown. She could sit there and make this. She would get molasses at that time as well. They would use molasses as well because there are certain, when you have the basics going, you can pretty much branch out in all directions of whatever you have. So like if you have, you can make your own apple cider. I don't know how to do that yet, but it's something I want to learn to do. You can make your own vinegars with things once you learn that, and once you have the acids going there, you can go in other directions. So the women of yesterday were highly intelligent. They knew exactly what they had to do. With the very basics, they could build a whole pantry and feed their whole family. And with the herbs that they had around, they used them as medicine as well as flavoring. So they knew a lot more than what we do today. And we have lost a lot of the knowledge, and we have handed it over to companies. And in that aspect, they're making millions off things that we have done. Like men used to do certain things. And the companies took over because they wanted to make money. I mean, it's just like biscuit. Very easy recipe. Self-rising flour, self-rising cornmeal is very easy to make. I have a European one. They only use baking powder and flour. You have to add the salt to taste. They don't add the salt in ahead of time for you. Like most people don't know that cake flour is spring wheat. It's a lighter wheat. But for that autumn wheat, they call it winter wheat, it has to survive that winter It's a hard one. That's where we get our bread flour from. But if you sit there and mix the two in the proper ratio that I gave you, you can make your own all-purpose flour. You don't need that. And if you want to make self-rising flour yourself, if you make your own baking powder without the aluminum in it to get away from it, you sit there, and I've given you the recipe for both of those, and you could end up making your own self-rising flour. And the cornmeal, I've given you that recipe as well, and you wouldn't have to worry about these companies. You would be more efficient in the kitchen yourself instead of depending upon them, because they put stuff in there you don't know. So I made my confectionery sugar. So I am going to go put it in a jar. But listen, just think of all the things. When you see these old movies and they come in and they're asking for basic things, if you go into a store and you see 20 or 40 pounds of sugar and they buy the molasses up, you know what they're going to do. There's too much that we can do ourselves, but we've gotten very lax, like making cakes. Cakes have basic things in them, and once you've got the basic of a cake, you can do it yourself. And you can make your own cake mixes and pack them up. It's no problem. I don't need to do that. I can just sit there and make them because I know what I'm doing. But you can make your own cake mixes and get away, because if you try reading what's on those ingredients, you will find out they've got chemicals and stuff in them. And those cake mixes are a lot older than you realize, because they've been stored in a warehouse that's been cool. That's why when you open things from the store and you stick them in the refrigerator and stuff, you notice they have a short span and they go bad. When I leave them in there for a couple of months and they're still good. They don't go because I canned them. I've got the date and they're fresh. You don't know how long these things have been sitting at the warehouse before you get it. So anyway, listen, I want you to have a very good evening. Take care. Bye-bye.